Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, I'm going to go over a story titled, Would I Be the A-Hole If I Told My Kids That Their Recently Deceased Mother Cheated on Me? And a big shout out to Tolman for sending me this story. And guys, this story is about a guy who's 46 years old, and about a few weeks earlier, his wife died in a car accident. And you're going to see that shortly after, he found out that she was in a full-blown affair. She was making out to be that she was writing a book or something on her laptop, which explained when she was not paying attention to him and all this activity she was doing. But in reality, you're going to find out that something else was going on and was planning on ruining him, turning the kids against him, taking everything. Just despicable. And then this guy obviously is wondering, do I tell the kids the truth about their mother? Which I'm sure 99% of you all would say they have a right to know, and he has a right to tell them. I'll be very going to go over here, guys, about karma. It's nice to see an a-hole suddenly is taken away from this world. We can all enjoy that. And also, guys, you have to pay attention to red flags. If things suddenly seem off, particularly with someone you've known for decades, you got to investigate. And, of course, you can't let somebody who really tries to ruin your life let it go just because they passed away. Everybody needs to know. No freaking mercy, Cobra Kai, whatever you want to call it. He or she, whatever the situation is, deserves that. It says, the wound's still a bit fresh. A month ago, my wife of 22 years tragically died in a car crash. Cynthia was one of those drivers that loved to stare into her phone, and unfortunately, that bad habit caught up with her in the last week of January. I don't feel bad. I think she got what she deserved, frankly. Call me a heartless a-hole, but seriously, given the fact that I know how this story goes and everything she was doing to this poor husband and family behind her back, and also one of these reckless morons that looks at her phone while she's driving. Do you know how dangerous that is, putting people's lives in jeopardy? You really have to see that who commented on your Facebook or Instagram or who sent you that message. You can't wait until you freaking get to your destination and look at those things. She got what she deserved. I just hope she didn't harm anybody else. I was pretty devastated when the police showed up at my door and told me she had a fatal accident, and I wanted to honor her somehow. At the time of the accident, I had no idea she was having an affair. The last 4 or 5 months, I did notice that she was pulling away and our intimacy decreased. But I thought this was just something that happened to couples after 20 years, so I didn't pay much attention to that. But at least, from what she told me, Cynthia started to get into writing. She was constantly on her laptop typing away all hours. So the lovin' really slowed down, red flag. She was suddenly on one of her devices all the time instead of spending time with him or their kids, red flag. Gotta pay attention to these things. She told me she was working on a fantasy book, hopefully the first of a series. When I asked more, she said it was about a fantasy world where a super advanced human race appears and interacts with orcs and elves and magic with laser guns and high technology. Do these orcs and elves drive vehicles and look at their freaking devices while they're driving these things like her? It sounded very cool, and Cynthia promised as soon as she had the first draft she liked, she would let me read it. I decided to honor her by getting the draft of her book and hiring a writer to clean it up and publish it with a novelty press. I got on her laptop and no book. No sign at all. I opened her Chrome, thinking she might have written it on Google Drive, and saw a bunch of pinned tabs. One was a Facebook Messenger tab with a ton of messages with a man named John. So the whole time when she says she's writing a story, it's all BS. These gals are masters at covering their tracks. Frankly, if it was me, I'd be like, let me see some of it. No, I'm not there. No, let me see. I want to see. It's sad that you have to really dig and dig and dig for red flags. It's amazing. I have no idea who John is, never met him, but they talked about meeting up, exchanging photos, everything. The last message John sent her was 2 days before Cynthia's accident. The two saying they loved each other, and him saying he was going on a business trip to Germany. This poor guy. He finds out his wife just died, 22 years, and finds out she's having an affair. The messages between Cynthia and John have shown they have met up at the house more than once. In his own house. So I already had the locks changed. Not sure if John is back yet, and frankly don't care if he is. That takes it to a whole new level, hooking up in their own house. I was thoroughly devastated. She did have a Google Drive tab, but in her drive wasn't a book about elves and Vulcans, but a shared document with John. The document was a plan her and John drafted on how to divorce me, turn the kids against me, and take her home and as much money as possible. One thing she noted was she has been taking money, a few hundred a month, and putting into a separate account. And again, to a whole new level, plotting together how to leave him, turn the kids against him, get everything she can to ruin this guy. And although this is the guy telling the story, there's been an indication from him that it's been like he's been a bad husband. A lot of these guys will admit when they've been bad husbands. Oh my God, this is insane. I got the bank thing sorted out and the money in the kids' college account. I've also been going to therapy twice a week now. It is hard to be mad at someone dead, especially someone everyone else in your life is grieving and praising as a wonderful wife and mother. Oh, hell no. If I found this out, I would make sure everybody knew. I'd get all the evidence and say, here you go. And if friends and family said I'm this despicable human being for that, I'd say, no. Call me an SOB, I don't care. After finding that evidence of what she's doing, and we're not done yet, by the way, some of these things here, you need to know. You need to know your sister was this way, your daughter was this way, your friend was this way, and eventually the kids deserve to know. I have also asked my therapist if I should tell my kids about what Cynthia has done and what she's planning to do. My therapist cautioned me about this. He said that he just lost her mother, and being told this would be condemning her memory. Maybe now is not the time to tell, but I think eventually will be a time for my kids to know. So he wants to know if he'd be the a-hole for doing that. And I'm going to go on to part 2 in a second here. The kids, I believe, are either adults or close to being adults. They deserve to know the truth. Now, perhaps waiting a little bit to let them know, fine. Or simply saying that your mother, she may have been a good mom to you, but she wasn't exactly a good wife, as it turns out. And if they dig, something like that. But after what she did to him and was going to do to them and manipulate them into hating him and all these things, they need to know. And it isn't just revenge. Because I know a lot of you are going to be like, oh, SSM, you just want to be vengeful. And I am a vengeful bastard, I'll admit that. But still, she deserves consequences, even if she's 6 feet under. Now the update. He says, some things have happened since the last time. Oh, they certainly have, sir. To answer some questions, I've gone to the bank and got control of Cynthia's account and transferred the money into a savings account for the kids. Also, my kids already suspected. What do you know? Parents seem to think that their kids are clueless and never have an idea. Guess what? Kids are usually pretty well figuring things out. Tuesday night, my eldest Michelle said her and my son Jason had something to say to me. They sat me down in the living room and Michelle said, we think Mom was cheating on you. Holy shit. So deep down, he's keeping quiet because he doesn't want to upset them. And deep down, they've been keeping things quiet because they don't upset him. And finally, they both said they weren't sure, but it was eating them up seeing me in extreme grief this past month, and they thought I should hear what they suspect. They brought up how Cynthia was always away, and when she was at home, she would say strange observations about me. Stuff like, isn't it weird your dad is working late this week? This is one of those C's Cynthia mentioned in her document that she wanted to plant in the kids' minds. What a bitch. See? The little manipulation things, strange your dad's working late all the time. Making them think that an affair could be going on here, right? Michelle said her suspicions went high the week before the accident. When she got home from school, she saw a strange jacket on the coat hook by the front door. It wasn't any jacket Jason and I had, so she was very suspicious about that. Good for the daughter for noticing these things. I told both my kids that I didn't tell them, but I found evidence on their mom's computer when I was looking for the book she said she was writing. Michelle wanted to see evidence, but Jason said he doesn't want to think or talk about his mom for a while. I shared the info with Michelle, and she insisted she already suspected her mom was ready for that. She was ready for that. Good. This is great that they now suspected that, so now he doesn't have to lie to them, and they don't have to go around thinking their mother's some kind of fucking saint. It's bad enough that she was cheating on him, but the fact that, and he has evidence to prove this in the documents that she had hidden, that she was deliberately going to try to turn the kids against him. If I'm the kids, I'd be like, F you, Mom. Yeah, it's like they're going to question everything. They're going to question everything she said or done their entire years. They'll probably want to. Some kids may want to just like forget about it and say and try to find excuses and everything like that. But they deserve to know, and I'm glad they know. And I'm glad, frankly, for this guy, they went to him first. Now it's time to tell all the family and all the friends about this whole thing, and make sure, because she deserves this. She's a piece of shit. And as for the affair partner, we're getting to that. I shared the info with Michelle, and she insisted she already suspected her mom was ready for it. It feels good now to have someone close to me that I can talk to about this beyond my therapist. Well, don't be careful not to make your daughter the shoulder to cry on. You gotta be the strong dad. You can talk about these things, but don't make her your therapist. That's a bad place to be. You gotta be the strong rock for your daughter and son. Yesterday afternoon, I was home alone when I heard someone jiggling at the back door's knob. I went to the door and saw a man I never saw before trying to use a key on the lock. Gee, who could that be? Trying to get into your house without your permission. You know, there are some states in the US of A where someone was trying to break into your house. You had every right to, handle things accordingly because you're being an intruder and you don't feel safe. And oh darn, officer, look what happened. There's also places in this country where I used to live in, one called Massachusetts, where someone could be breaking into your house and you could kick their ass and the cops will arrest you. Which is why one of the reasons why I left that ridiculous state. Anyway, I told him to step back from the door and he almost jumped. I opened the door crack and asked him who he was and what he was doing in my backyard. It was John, Cynthia's affair partner. He told me he worked with my wife. And he just got back from a trip, and he saw Cynthia died on social media, and him and Cynthia were starting a business. Well, they were getting down to business. I don't think they were starting a business. But regardless, if you saw that she was dead, and you're coming into my house with your key, she gave you a key, and you're entering my house, it's not your house, without permission, you know she's dead. Oh, the police, a lawyer, not to mention changing the locks and security cameras everywhere. Supposedly they had a business bank account with his investment money in the business, and he was wondering if I could help him get the business funds transferred over. Oh sure, come on. You were trying to come into my house without permission, and you've been banging my wife, and a part of the plan to get her to leave me and take everything and turn the kids against me. Yeah, come on in. I'll help you find those documents. Get the fuck out of here, motherfucker. I'm going to take your head off with my shotgun here. I looked him straight in the eye and said I was at the bank and Cynthia didn't have an extra business account, and I had no idea what he was talking about. John also said that he wanted to check my wife's things for any sensitive business documents. I said he was a stranger and wasn't welcome in my home, especially since he tried to enter without permission. John looked defeated, but did suggest he would consult with a lawyer about his sensitive business documents and business funds. Yeah, you're going to go to a lawyer and say I was sneaking into some guy's house without his permission and was going to ruffle through his things. Yeah, I'm sure the lawyer will laugh him right out of his fucking office. This guy needs to immediately follow him out there, get pictures of his license plate, make and model of the car, his description, call the cops immediately. So this guy was trying to break into he had a key, but he's breaking in, and was insistent on going through my stuff. I feel unsafe, my kids feel unsafe, and have the cops go to him, then get a lawyer and get a fucking restraining order, then get security cams all over the property, change the locks and all that, and depending on where you live, time to go to the gun shop. That's what I would do. And I, of course, would have said a lot more things to that guy and say, you get the fuck out of here. I will see you again. You're not going to see the next morning, or something like that, you know. And believe me, if there was a baseball bat nearby, well, you get the point. Now, that wraps up that story. But anyhow, no, this guy wouldn't be the a-hole for letting his kids know. They'd have every right to know as everybody else. But I would have at least waited a little bit in the situation for the kids to heal a little bit, you know. But taking that to the grave? She didn't deserve that. She's a piece of garbage. And I'm so sorry for this guy. You know, but you know what? He's in his early 40s, and once he gets past the betrayal and all that, he's going to be okay. But it's going to take time, and I hope he works out, hope he eats well, doesn't fall into alcohol or drugs or anything. But no, everybody needs to know about what she did, absolutely, and no fucking mercy. It's Cobra Kai. She doesn't deserve that. She's a piece of garbage. If at one thing, if she just wanted to leave the marriage and was having an affair, that'd be awful. But the fact that she deliberately, I'm going to take him for everything it's worth, the house, the money, turn the kids against him, that's a whole other level of evil here. And that guy also needs to go down. But I'm willing to bet you this guy was scamming her. That's probably what was going on and was going to leave her. So who knows? But I'll see if there's any more updates to this crazy situation. But before I go, some comments here because they're always fun. This guy says here, I'm not proud of what I'm about to say, but if all this is true, I'm glad she's dead. I mean, she wasn't only cheating, which is horrible, she was stealing OP's money and executing a plan to put their own children against him. She was the incarnation of evil. Even with all the pain, OP is lucky that this happened because if not, she's prepared to take everything from him and destroy him. Yeah, exactly. I say karma big time, and she's dead and I hope rotting and burning in hell. She can suck the Lucifer's cock for all eternity and burn. Another one. Is there a chance that your wife started a bank account with another bank that you don't know of? Perhaps the money was put there. Also, you have had the opportunity to discover any paperwork that might be an indication of their business. I have to sound completely astounded that someone would hear that their affair partner has been killed in a crash and then try to enter the family home knowing that someone in the family would probably be there. This is awfully bizarre behavior, which makes me wonder if he was desperate to get some sort of documents back in his hands. I wish you all the best going forward. It really must be a hard time for you. Another one. He says, OP, I just read your story. First of all, I'm very sorry for everything that you're going through, but get all your ducks in a row. Consult your lawyer about this event. Invest in cameras. This dude had a key to your house, and he and your wife made an elaborate plan to turn your kids against you and ruin you. I would dig up as much info on this John character and see if you can hurt him before he hurts you. Maybe he's in a relationship as well. I for damn sure would blow that up first. I understand vengeance maybe isn't on your mind, but in my opinion, it's more about protecting yourself and the kids. All the best, mate. Yeah, I would also hire a PI to find out who the fuck this guy is. Absolutely, but you're not just protecting you, you're protecting also your kids. And for all you know, this guy could show up with a weapon. You just never know. But like I said, take pictures of him, make a model of his car, call the cops immediately. They'll be after him. Get a lawyer, restraining order, all security, things like that. And PI and anything else you can think of to make this guy's life a living hell. And one more. One guy says, OP, you need to put a report on John for trying to break into your home without permission. Also, lawyer up to protect yourself on further issues. And change all the doorknobs ASAP. Also tell your kids about this and better start doing a cleanup on your wife's things to find out if there's something else. Maybe there's a secret account you might not know about. That is to share it with them. So there you go, guys. Sad situation, but whenever I hear some piece of crap scumbag who's doing awful things to her husband or family happens to kick the bucket, I think it's a good thing. That's one less asshole in this world. There's 8 billion people on the planet. Believe me, we can do without quite a few, let's be honest here. Although some people probably say that about me too. So I wish this guy all the best. Alright guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.